On a quiet winter night in Duxbury, Massachusetts, a call came through that would stop an entire community cold. What happened inside that home on January 24, 2022, would become one of the most haunting cases in Massachusetts history. Duxbury is the kind of town people move to for safety, for good schools, for the promise of a stable life. Lindsay Clancy and her husband Patrick had built exactly that kind of life there, raising their family in a close-knit neighborhood along the South Shore. Cora Clancy was 5 years old, full of energy and wonder. Dawson Clancy was 3. Little Callan was only 7 months old. By all accounts, January 23, 2022 was an ordinary Sunday. The children played. The family went about their routine. Nothing signaled what the next morning would bring. In the early hours of January 24, 2022, Patrick Clancy called 911. When first responders arrived at the family home, they found all 3 children unresponsive. Cora, Dawson, and Callan had each been killed. Lindsay Clancy was found outside the home, having gone through a second-floor window and fallen to the ground below. She was critically injured and rushed to the hospital. First responders worked to save the children, but Cora and Dawson were pronounced dead. Baby Callan was transported to a hospital, but did not survive. The investigation fell to Plymouth County authorities. Prosecutors alleged that Lindsay Clancy had strangled all 3 of her children inside the home before going through that window. What made this case deeply complicated from the beginning was what the defense argued in response. Lindsay Clancy had been a labor and delivery nurse, a trained medical professional. Her attorneys argued that she was suffering from a severe postpartum psychiatric condition, that she had been prescribed a significant number of medications by her doctors in the weeks leading up to that night. Those medications, the defense claimed, had fundamentally altered her mental state. Medical records and prescription histories became central evidence in the case. Defense attorneys pointed to what they described as a catastrophic failure of the mental health system, arguing that Lindsay was not a calculating killer, but a woman whose mind had been overtaken by illness and pharmaceutical side effects. Prosecutors pushed back, presenting the case as one of deliberate action. The trial drew coverage from dozens of major news outlets, including CBS News, NBC News, CNN, the New York Times, and the Boston Globe. Jury selection began in 2025, more than 3 years after the deaths of Cora, Dawson, and Callan. The long road to trial was shaped by Lindsay Clancy's serious physical injuries, legal proceedings, and the extraordinarily complex psychiatric evidence both sides intended to present. The case forced an uncomfortable public conversation about postpartum mental illness, medical responsibility, and criminal culpability. As the trial got underway, the courtroom became the arena where 2 very different accounts of Lindsay Clancy would be tested. The prosecution's portrait of a mother who made a choice, the defense's portrait of a woman who had lost all capacity to make one. Patrick Clancy, who had cooperated with investigators from the earliest hours, spoke publicly about his love for his wife, even as he mourned their children, a stance that drew both admiration and disbelief from the public following the case. 3 children lost their lives in Duxbury on that January night. Cora was 5, Dawson was 3, Callan was 7 months old. Their names are the center of this story, whatever the courts ultimately decide about their mother.